Am I the a-hole for not giving away the money my grandfather left for me to my cousin? My grandfather was a great man and someone I still look up to, even after he passed away. He was one of the nicest and more gentle persons I've known through my life. Throughout my childhood and adolescence, I had a very close relationship with him. Growing up, I would rather spend time with him than in my own house. Due to that, I developed quite a deep connection with him. He was a doctor, and I was constantly exposed to his work as he would often tell, softened up, stories about his daily routine and how he would wanted to help out the sick. Honestly, that close contact with him left quite a mark on me, and at an early age, I decided that I also wanted to be a doctor. I would constantly tell him about that, and in my teen years, he would constantly help me out with my studies so I could achieve that. Sadly, before I could even get into college, my grandfather passed away. I was devastated, and I went through a lot after his passing. I mentioned my grandfather was a great man, and he valued education a lot. Before his passing, he wrote a will, I'm not sure if this is the exact term, leaving a lot of money to his grandkids, and I have a few cousins. Enough to pay for college tuitions, and some more. I didn't really care about the money. Rather, I would prefer to have my grandpa with me. But that's not possible. He, however, always believed in me and left me enough for me to pay for my education, all the way through medical school. It still brings tears to my eyes that he thought so far ahead. Well, I decided that would do my best to become the person he knew I could be. I studied as much as I could and got into an amazing college. Now I'm one semester away from graduation, top of my class. Medical school's applications are already closed, and I'm starting to prepare myself as it isn't as simple as that. Regardless, yesterday my aunt came to visit me and my parents. I'm currently with them due to college being temporarily online. She came and talked with us about a lot of things. Her daughter, my cousin, is a good person, but she hasn't found out what she wants to do yet. She jumped colleges more times than I can remember, and that costs money. She came to us to ask us if we could give her daughter part of what my grandpa left me. She says that since I'm already graduating from college, I don't need it as much as her daughter. Now, I do feel sorry for her, but giving away this money means I won't be able to attend medical school. Student loans aren't a thing in my country, at least not ones that can cover med school, and my parents can't afford it themselves. I explained to her that I couldn't do that and the reason for it. However, this didn't sit well with my aunt at all. She got upset and started to argue that I was being an egotistical a-hole. Things did escalate and she left. My parents told me it was my choice, but I'm feeling like an awful person. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not a a-hole. Your cousin had a certain amount of money and made bad decisions about her education. You shouldn't have to pay for it, and you definitely shouldn't have to sacrifice your dreams to pay for it. I've gotten the impression that your family and possibly your culture really values family taking care of family. Look at it this way. 1. Your aunt doesn't care at all about you as her family, or she wouldn't be asking you to sacrifice your future. 2. Your life path deeply honors your grandfather's values and how he chose to distribute his money. Your aunt is disrespecting your grandfather's legacy by asking you to give up your inheritance and career. 3. You would actually be hurting your cousin by giving her money. She needs to learn that actions have consequences. Well said, mate. I do wonder though. You think the aunt went hand in hand on her own accord, or did the cousin ask/beg/pastor her to go? I would guess the aunt has been pushing the cousin to study, and the cousin keeps flunking and switching because she isn't suited or isn't ready for college or those courses. Not today, Hull. Your cousin already went through the money left for her. It's not fair for you to jeopardize your future due to her poor choices. Not today, Hull. Her daughter's inability to settle on a major or specific course of study is not your problem. You should not give up your dream of med school for this cousin. Your aunt can either figure out a way to help your cousin, or your cousin can get a job and go to school like many people do. Not today, Hull. Your grandpa believes in you and loves you. He wanted you to have the money to get into medical school. Your cousin should not be rewarded for her behavior, and your aunt doesn't care. I say keep the money and achieve the dream you have worked so hard for. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she chose the struggle life? My 27 male sister, Amy, 30 female, is a social worker with a master's in social work that came with over 6 figures of debt between undergrad and grad school. I work in tech sales, have a bachelor's, but no grad school. I've made about $150,000 the last 12 months on a $60,000 base plus commission pay package. She just revealed to me that she makes $50,000. Sunday, while at our mom's for Mother's Day, she was complaining about how underpaid she is and how it's unfair that she struggles with bills so much. She asked me multiple times what I made and I wouldn't tell her. But she asked if it's 6 figures and I said yes. She then asked if I could help her with childcare bills since I make at least double what she does and have no kids or major expenses. She also implied I'm overpaid since my job doesn't benefit society like hers. I told her I'm not comfortable with that because mixing family and money is never a good idea. Then she called me greedy and started getting into a moral debate about how society pays the wrong people and how she should never have to struggle and asked if I thought it was fair. I answered, fair pay is getting paid what's agreed to, and she knew what she was getting into when she got into social work. To which she goes, oh, you think I chose the struggle life? To which I said, well, you chose that degree and career, so if that's what comes with it, yes. Then she got super pissed and still won't let it go. She brought it up again last night when we had dinner at my parents' again. Am I the a-hole here? Everyone sucks here. She shouldn't have expected you to help her financially. You shouldn't have been a prick about it. Yes, she chose that career knowing what it pays, but that doesn't mean she deserves to struggle financially. She probably has her reasons for choosing that career. Maybe they outweighed the salary at the time she chose it. The reality is, there are structural differences in how someone in tech makes much more than someone in social work. I'm sure both of your jobs benefit society in different ways. Not one is better than the other. The structures in place allow for someone in tech to be more likely to be paid more than someone in social work, or someone in education, or someone in government work, etc., etc. The comparison goes on. Fair pay is getting paid what's agreed to is kind of a cop-out a-holish answer. People agree to unfair wages all the time, out of need or circumstance. Agreeing to be paid a certain amount, in itself, doesn't make it fair. I mean, she knew what the degree costs. She knew what the field paid. Which is why when she asked if I thought she chose the struggle life, I figured that's an obvious yes. I have no opinion in what social workers should be paid, but if you know what it is and choose to enter that field, you choose what comes with it. In hindsight, maybe I should have just stroked her ego and said, yeah, she deserves more, but I was just answering her question. Not a-hole. She did all but straight up tell you she doesn't respect you or your line of work, lol. Yeah, that's kinda how I took it too. Out of nowhere. Definitely jealous that I make more without a grad degree, but felt uncalled for. The not lending her money is not the a-hole, sure. But the fact that such an important job as she does is so grossly underpaid. Your title asks if you're the a-hole for what you said. To that, yes, you're the a-hole. Yes, it shows it. But your response showed a lack of compassion and a gross complacency with a broken social system that we live in. A complacency I'd wager that comes from never having to struggle yourself. Never being in a bad situation out of control that forces you to need the services your line of work provides, so you have some perspective on its value. I'd say your career is more important to society than yours. You're assuming, incorrectly, a lot about my life. I made $30,000 in my first sales job and worked my way up. Have a lot of other life experiences you don't know about too. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my cousin my coloring books? I, 22 female, have a very large collection of those super intricate coloring books. I find them very relaxing. I also have a little cousin, 4 female, who loves to color. Whenever she comes over, I give her some children's coloring books I keep on hand. But last week on her most recent visit, she insisted on coloring in one of mine. I don't actually color in my books. I print off copies of the page I want to do so I can color the picture again in the future. So I told my cousin she couldn't color in the book, but I could get her some pages. I printed off a few pages from the book I was working in, and she colored the same pictures I did. I thought it was all fine until she went to show her mom. My aunt had a total meltdown. She came to me and asked why I didn't just give the book to her kid. She knows I have a ton. She called me a selfish, greedy monster, which I thought was a massive escalation compared to the issue. I tried to explain my side of it, but she kept yelling over me before grabbing my coloring book and ripping the pages out of it. She told me I had better think about my actions and be prepared to make it up to her and cousin the next time they come over. I've gotten messages from a few family members telling me it's stupid for a 22-year-old to have coloring books, and I should just give them to a kid that will appreciate them. I don't know. I think I may be the a-hole because it really was just a cheap coloring book I got at Walmart. It wouldn't have hurt anything to just let cousin have the book to color in. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Of course you're not the a-hole. You didn't deny your cousin anything and she wasn't upset. Your aunt sounds insanely entitled. Not entitled. The aunt sounds straight up unhinged. Who the hell rips out pages of someone else's book because their child didn't get to color in it? That's just weirdly over-the-top aggressive. I wouldn't let the crazy page ripper back in my home till they'd apologized, and maybe replace the book they destroyed, to be honest. Or at least paid for a replacement. She destroyed Obi's property, for goodness sake. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. The kid wanted to color and they got to. And even if they hadn't, it's your stuff. I'm a parent, and my son isn't entitled to other people's stuff just because we're family. Your aunt sounds awful, and I bet every family member taking her side is saying it because they don't want her getting at them over it. Edit. As for, she told me I had better think about my actions and be prepared to make it up to her and cousin the next time they come over. I'd be telling her she better not show her face until she has apologized. Don't let her entertain the idea that she's the one waiting for an apology. Yes, God, that aunt made me so angry. Her child was happy, wasn't it? And then she, an adult woman, comes along and destroys her property? The hell? I would ignore the hell out of her until she apologizes for what she did. Not the a-hole. You were never too old for coloring books, and you were perfectly nice to your cousin, who apparently was happy without getting to color in the book. What the hell? The kid colored and had a good time. What is the aunt's problem that she thinks it's okay to use her kid as a motivator for her to have a drama fit? Not the a-hole. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for no longer inviting my broke friend on nights out? For context, I have a friend that went out of work on surgery leave back in October. This was supposed to be a relatively simple surgery with a return to work date scheduled for 2 weeks following the surgery. She ended up out of work for 7 months on leave, collecting disability. The timing for being out of work ended up being during the winter when there were limited options of things to do. The friend group generally meets once a week for dinner, drinks, and we enjoy local music. It's not a set meetup, it varies every week depending on what day has live music, where, folks' work schedules, etc. At the beginning, I was happy to pick up my friend that had fallen in hard times' share of the check and had gladly offered to. I think at some point it had become assumed that I would pick up every single time. The friend would do odd things when the check came, like fake a phone call, go spend an awful long time in the bathroom, etc. I would pick up the check every time. She even at some point stopped saying thank you or acknowledging the bill at all. It got to the point where I didn't want to be spending that much on nights out. And the weather broke, so there were more opportunities to do other things together. This friend's been invited over my house for cooking in, for playing music together. We're both musicians. Various outdoor activities. It has not taken me up on any of those invitations. My meetups for nights out with the remainder of the friend group has continued. However, I've stopped making the one broke friend aware of when we're meeting, as nobody wants to continue picking up an extra weekly bill after 8 months. She's upset the rest of us are spending time together without her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but you gotta tell her directly that she is taking advantage of all of you. She has been taking you for chumps within those 8 months. At no point did anyone tell her that I am unable to cover you anymore. You will have to pay for yourself when you come to these invites. She's intentionally being a mooch. She gets up to the bathroom when the checks arrive, and worse is she no longer shows gratitude. Probably doesn't want to bring attention that you've been paying for her. She is using your silence and compliance to continue to get free meals while you all continue with your non-confrontational front. Not the a-hole. Your friend knows exactly why she's no longer invited out. How does she know? Because she disappeared every time that it was time to pay the bill. A friend wants to spend time with the group. What is stopping her from inviting people over for a potluck, a picnic in the park, etc.? It's pretty obvious that friend values paid for food, rather than making the effort to pay for her meals, or create an opportunity to share a meal with a friend group. I invited her over for dinner at my house, to play music together, and to do a few things outdoors that would have been free. She didn't take me up on any of those invites. That's why I think you are not an a-hole. Your friend is a mooch and resents the fact that no one wants to continue to pay for her mooching. Not an a-hole, but why not just be honest and direct? I can't find a way to do it without it being super awkward/embarrassing. Hey, we would love to have you join us, but no more of that fake phone call at bill time stuff. It just sounds so cringe-worthy of a conversation to have. Not an a-hole, but try finding things she can afford to do. Either that or continue to exclude her. Either way solves the issue. She was invited to participate in numerous things that would have been free to everyone, but didn't take me up on any of those invitations. First story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not wanting to spend a lot of money in my sister's second wedding?" Before I begin, it's not that I'm not excited. I am. I'm more frustrated at the fact that she doesn't seem to understand that this isn't the first go-round. My 32 female, middle sister 32 female, was married at 25 and divorced 3 years later. We had a large, 150-person wedding. My family spent a lot of money hosting the wedding, and I personally spent a lot of money hosting various wedding events, bridal shower, bachelorette. When the first marriage was ending, I was there for my sister every step of the way. Went to meet with lawyers with her, was constantly on the phone offering a shoulder to cry on, and have her come and stay with me for a weekend when she just needed to get away. When she began dating her current fiancé, we were thrilled that she had met him, as he is a wonderful person and brings out the best in my sister. We joked around about when he would propose, and were thrilled when he did. We are barely into the wedding planning process round 2, and she's already expecting this wedding to be bigger and better than the last. She sent a list of places she would like to go for her bachelorette party, along with a list of 15 people she wants to be invited. Never mind the fact that we are in the middle of a global pandemic, which will hopefully be much more under control by the time the wedding comes around. But I already spent close to $2,000 on her first bachelorette party. Don't me, she was the first of the friends group to get married. I was making good money and wanted her to have an amazing time. I have no problem doing something on a smaller scale. A day at a winery, which she loves, or a spa day followed by dinner. But I'm not going to put up a lot of money for this. She's already asked us when we are hosting a bridal shower, and has made small comments about gifts she's really looking forward to getting. I will get them something, but the gift I got for her first wedding was broken by her during a fight with her ex-husband. Waterford crystal champagne glasses. Our youngest sister, 30 female, is on the same page as me. She has 2 young kids and currently isn't working due to COVID, so they are relying on her husband's income. The bride knows I do very well for myself financially. It is always hinting that I should be sharing the wealth, especially around the holidays. She sends us dresses for the bridal party, and they are $250 before alterations. I told her that that seemed like a bit much for that, and she got mad and said it was her vision. I feel horrible for my parents, who have offered some financial assistance, but she wants more, and they have tried to explain that this is her second time and it should be smaller. She keeps saying her first wedding didn't count. I want to be a supportive older sister and help her out, but saying that her first wedding didn't count really upset me because my bank account would say otherwise. I have tried talking to her, but I am just a bitter older sister. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for not wanting to spend a lot of money on her second wedding? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I mean, what? She's getting married, not you. Help her if you can. But if any of my siblings said share the wealth, they'd be getting a year's supply of horse manure delivered to their house. Not the a-hole. If she wants a big grand wedding, again, she can pay for it. Your family was generous enough to fork over thousands for her first wedding. And no one is under obligation to do so again, or God forbid a third time. With the state of the world, I'm sure people's finances are not the same, and there are more important things to worry about, like mortgages or feeding children, versus paying for your sister's second wedding. So tell her to take her entitlement and shove it if she argues. Not at a-hole. If she wants a big fancy wedding, she can pay for the big fancy wedding. Not at a-hole. Her decision to marry doesn't entitle her to everyone's money. It's not about money or a wedding. It's about the marriage itself. Your sister sounds exhausting. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for attending a wedding I'd been uninvited from? My brother, 28 male at the time, married Maggie, 29 female, in 2019 pre-COVID. Maggie is my 25 female at the time, ex-boyfriend's 25 male, sister. They met as a result of X and I being in a relationship. X and I dated for 3 years and broke up in 2018 after he cheated. He is engaged to the other woman currently. Obviously, I was hurt at first, but neither of us were happy and this was a chance to get out. I had no contact with X, never spoke to the other woman and minded my own business. I also didn't treat Maggie any differently because she's his sister. To me, she's just my brother's partner and I always acted like a friend to her. Maggie was definitely a bridezilla. After the engagement, she took control of wedding planning and made all of the decisions. The only thing my brother chose were the suits for himself and the groomsmen, although even then it had to be in a Maggie-approved style and color. Maggie sat me down one day and told me that she didn't want there to be any family drama on her wedding day. She'd spoken to X and apparently he said he'd feel uncomfortable if he had to be around me at the wedding, especially as his fiancée would be there too. This surprised me because, like I said, I didn't talk to him and was genuinely over it. I reassured Maggie that she need not worry, and she said she'd made a tough decision to uninvite me, and she hoped I understood that it was her day and she just wanted it to be a happy one. Excuse me? It's my brother's day too, and I want to see him get married. I called my brother afterwards. He was aware of Maggie's choice and he wanted me to be there, but he didn't want to upset Maggie by saying no to her. I love him, but he has the backbone of a slug and rarely stands up for himself. My parents were furious at how unreasonable Maggie was being. Since they know full well I wouldn't have made a fuss about X. They talked to her, but she wouldn't budge. Not your wedding, not your choice. I ignored Maggie's request and turned up at the wedding with my parents anyway, and it was a lovely ceremony. There wasn't a wedding meal for me, but I nipped out to grab dinner from a cafe, before returning to the reception and having a great time, dancing with my brother, drinking and just enjoying myself. I didn't acknowledge X or his fiancée once. I didn't need to. I was there for my brother. He told me he was so happy I'd attended, and it wouldn't have been the same without his little sister. Maggie didn't kick off, but she gave me dirty looks the whole time, and I could see her whispering to people, who would then also give me dirty looks. After the day, she blew up at me for undermining her and ruining her wedding. Nothing happened. She just didn't enjoy it because she spent it feeling angry. I know, it's horrible to crash a wedding, but I feel like I had a right to be there as it was my brother's wedding too. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. He didn't want to upset Maggie by saying no to her. I love him, but he has the backbone of a slug and rarely stands up for himself. Not the a-hole, but I'm sorry to say your brother is. Having a slug's internal structure is an okay excuse for some transgressions. This is not one of them. Maggie is BA, beyond a-hole. She broke the scale here. I thought the same. Her brother should have put his foot down and stood up to his demanding wife. Not the a-hole, but beware. Maggie's going to ruin your family. Her disrespectful behavior goes way beyond being a bridezilla. That's controlling, selfish, and unreasonable. And your brother is clearly a jellyfish for letting her get away with it. Wait until they bring a child into this world. She'll use the kid as a pawn, just as she did this BS wedding invitation. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned for my brother. Don't get me wrong. He seems happy, but you never know what goes on behind closed doors. So I hope she isn't being manipulative and controlling towards him on a daily basis. He's very shy and easy to walk all over, I guess. So I'm praying she doesn't take advantage of that. Everyone sucks here. Your ex for cheating and then asking his sister not to invite you when he was the one who had a problem and should have been uninvited. The sister for uninviting you. Your brother for not having his family's back. You for crashing the wedding. Haha, that's a fair judgment. We could all do with improving our communication skills. Lol. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for uninviting my sister to my wedding for what she told my fiancé? My male 27, fiancé female 25, has an obvious permanent burn scar from an accident that caused her mother, her only parent, to pass away from injury. My fiancé had a long recovery. It's been 7 years. The scar is on her collarbone. It goes down her chest but isn't showing, unless she's wearing scoop/square tops. She often wears hoodies/jackets to cover up. She puts this cream, I don't know what ladies call it, but it's supposed to tone skin color or something? I'm not sure, but my fiancé calls it foundation that is 1 degree brighter than her skin color. I absolutely adore her. She's pretty, smart, ambitious, and the list goes on. What happened was unfortunate, and I'm glad she's at peace with herself and more confident. My family love her. How can they not? She's a member of the family. My mom makes sure she takes part in every family function, and things like shopping and decorating other things. However, my sister made comments about my fiancé's scar several times. I've called her out on her behavior several times to get her to stop, because she was hurting me before my fiancé with her backhanded and insensitive comments. I told my fiancé she had every right to cut my sister out and not deal with her BS, but she has been forgiving and respectful of my entire family. Our wedding is in February. My fiancé went shopping for the wedding dress. This is where the issue started. My fiancé showed the wedding dress to my sister. I didn't see it, but I was told it was a spaghetti strap dress. My fiancé likes this stuff. Anyways, my sister saw it and went nuts. She started criticizing her choice and said that she should have gotten a high neck or a jewel wedding dress to cover up the scar. She argued with my fiancé about it. I went to my family's house and I confronted her. I yelled at her after she told me my fiancé needed to return the dress and get a proper one, so that guests won't focus on her burn scar and use it as a topic of conversation and gossip. I told her that she's not invited to our wedding. She isn't welcome to my wedding with this entitled attitude of hers, and her insensitivity and disrespect. We argued for half an hour, then I left. In exactly an hour, my mom and dad called and berated me, saying my sister was crying after I uninvited her, and that I had no right to uninvite her. She's my sister, and she was just trying to help out and give an advice and avoid any unnecessary drama at the wedding. My mom said my fiancé can keep the dress, but suggested to wear a bridal shawl as a neutral solution. I stopped responding to my mom's calls and texts after that. Family members were upset my sister was uninvited and wanted me to invite her again because this will make family look bad in front of outsiders and guests. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Uninvite anyone who insults your fiancé in my opinion. I'm definitely standing my ground. This is mine and my fiancé's big day. Not a-hole. Your mom is ridiculous to suggest your fiancé needs to compromise with anyone on her wedding dress. OP is not a-hole. His sister and mother, now those two surely are. That rotten apple didn't fall from the tree. What a small person your sister is. Your fiancé's burn scar is a badge of courage. I work in surgery, and I've done many burn reconstructions. That is no easy road to go down, and your fiancé should be praised for going through all that and coming out the other side with her gracious nature intact. Your sister owes you and your fiancé a huge apology. Your mother can offer one as well. This ew factor is childish and reprehensible. Not a-hole at all. She sounds jealous of the fiancé. OP, does your sister have a history of criticizing or being rude to your girlfriends? I know a few girls that seem to hate any girls their brothers brought home. And I was always put off by them because it seemed like they resent anyone that took attention away from them for even a split second. Now, for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my future sister-in-law's boyfriend to our wedding? I, 25 female, happily got engaged to my fiancé, 27 male, on Christmas after dating for 3 years. This wasn't much of a surprise. He and I had planned on getting engaged after I got my divorce. The only surprise was when and how it was going to happen. My first marriage was at 18 and only lasted 8 months before he left me in the hospital half dead. Yes, it was due to abuse. My fiancé and I announced our engagement immediately and we already have our date set. What can we say? We already have location, date, etc. picked out. We plan on January 2022. Hopefully, everything goes as planned with the pandemic. Of course, the first people we told was our families. This includes my in-laws, brother-in-law and his wife, my parents, my sister and her family, and my fiancé's half-sister, Meg. This is where our problem starts. Meg and my fiancé didn't know each other until they were adults, and they still aren't close. We found out a year and a half ago that Meg is dating my ex-husband. We have told her what happened with my ex with proof, but she thinks it's all a lie to make him look bad. Whatever, it's her choice. We'll leave the door open for support, but I do not interact with her. We told her she will be invited to our wedding, but under no circumstance is my ex to come. This didn't go over well. She complained that she had been with him for years, and her significant other will come to her brother's wedding. That I don't get a say, and I wasn't going to pick and choose who family is. This sparked a big fight that ended in me calling her a witch and telling her she could either come without him or not come at all. We are now getting hate from my fiancé's family, saying I'm in the wrong, that they would keep my ex away from me, and everyone else gets to bring their significant other. We have told them this isn't up for debate, that it's our wedding, so it's our choice. We already have people saying they will boycott our wedding. Am I the a-hole for this? I know my significant other would really like his sister to come, but I can't risk my ex being there. I'm starting to feel like the a-hole for causing drama because I probably wouldn't even notice him there. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole in any way, shape, or form. Do not allow anyone to bring your abuser to your wedding. Hire security if necessary. Anyone who would expect that this is not someone you want at your wedding. Congratulations! Hire security regardless. She sounds like she's the type to crash the wedding. Absolutely not the a-hole, and fiancé should handle his own family. If they boycott your wedding because your ex-attacker isn't allowed to come, that says something about what kind of relationship you should maintain with them. But if anyone tries to argue with you, I'd like you to remember that no is a complete sentence. Don't fall into the trap of trying to get them to agree with you. Just maintain your boundary and let them choose whether they want to come in with you or stay outside. The very next person to give you grief needs a history lesson, not the a-hole. No, the person who almost murdered me will not be at my wedding. Truthfully, I would get a permanent restraining order against him. Were criminal charges ever filed? Charges were filed, but he got away with assault. They tried to get him with attempted murder, but they couldn't prove that he had planned it or meant to end me. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.